Well, it's been 30 years now that the north part of the Street Rod Nationals North has happened in Kalamazoo. The NSRA, National Street Rod Association, puts on the Street Rod Nationals North show each year, and it is huge. And Jim Rowlett is back yet again for a discussion about that. Hi, Jim.
How you doing?
We should point out, you have been part of this group for a long time, and you make your way this way and in other parts of the country for this big show and shows like this.
Right. We do 10 events around the United States, and this is always a fun one for me. We gets toward the end of the year, and things get a little cooler, and hopefully, and we enjoy coming to Kalamazoo in this area. It's kind of neat.
Well, we look forward to it too, because this is no small show. 2,500 vehicles.
2,500 is what we're looking for. We were around 22 last year, and I think registration is going to be up some this year. I would encourage your listeners, if you have a car that's 30 years old or older, go over to 4 Points Sheridan starting today at 2 o'clock. Registration starts, and register and be a part of the event. It's a lot of neat things going on for the car owners. Of course, spectators love it as well.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Either way you want to come on.
And, no matter what your interest is, whether you are participating or you are a spectator, there's a lot of events. In fact, it's funny because I was just looking at YouTube the other day, and there was a roast of Johnny Carson. And who's standing at the podium but Rich Little, the great impressionist, right? And
Sure.
He pulls out this piece of paper, and he begins to list off all of Johnny Carson's ticks, the hand and the golf club thing. Jim handed me the brochure for this event, and it's almost as long as that sheet that Rich Little was holding. There's a lot associated with this.
A lot of things going on. In addition to the cars, we have commercial vendors selling automotive-related parts. We have a huge swap meet. If you need that gently used automotive part, we've got them. And come out and see that. And not to be slighted at all, we have an area, arts and crafts area, we call Women's World. And so the ladies can look at a little bling, and, there's some quilts to look at, and a lot of things going on arts and crafts wise. So it truly is a family oriented type event, a little something for everybody.
Yeah, what would they be without that? Street Rod widows or something? They wouldn't see their husbands all weekend, probably.
Well,
if you didn't think of that.
Could be, but we have a lot. I was talking earlier. We drove the 37 up this year from Texas, and my wife came, and we had a grand time going down the road. And with a few exceptions, Chicago being one, but that's another story.
Driving there takes a little fortitude, I guess, if you're not used to it. But you make a good point that these are very much events that families participate in, or at least couples have invested in together.
Well, we have a tendency a lot of times to talk about the guys in the cars.
Yeah.
We have a lot of ladies that own cars as well. And, they'll let you know right quick, that's not my husband's car, it's mine. And so that's always a fun deal. And, of course, with the vendors and it's like a fair atmosphere. You've got food vendors out there and all the things that are going on. I don't think you can do it in one day. We schedule it out, several things going on. The deal I really love is on Saturday. It's the 29 below. That's for car owners under the age of 30. They have an area to get together, and, they have a special awards thing and some T-shirts. And, it really does start that camaraderie that a lot of us older guys have had for years. But it's a good place for the kids to come.
Jim Rowlett's here, and we're talking about the Street Rod Nationals North at the Kalamazoo County Expo Center and Fairgrounds this weekend. We'll come back in a minute and define exactly what a street rod is in just a minute on WBCK. Jim Rowlett's here. NSRA Street Rod Nationals North this weekend at the Kalamazoo County Expo Center and Fairgrounds. 2,500 cars. What is a street rod? What is the definition of that, Jim?
Well, a street rod is defined as a pre-1949 vehicle modified for today's highways. For example, the 37 I drove. It's a 350 Chevrolet motor, 700R transmission, tilt cruise and air. So it goes down the highway just like the late model does. And so, that was the basis for this event for years. And now we've opened it to a 30-year rolling date. So not only street rods now, but we have the classics from the 50s and 60s, muscle cars from the 60s and 70s. So it broadens the whole spectrum. You see cars out there you won't see anyplace else.
Yeah, that's really interesting because when you have an old car and you want to take it on a ride, maybe a lengthy ride, you realize that a car that's older doesn't have the same sort of comfort and amenities that we've gotten used to. Street rods change that whole landscape.
Oh, yeah. We try to make them where you can go up and down the highways. We used to laugh years ago. The Model A Club used to do a deal out in East Texas, and, they'd get up like 4 o'clock in the morning to try to get out to the event site. And the V8 guys, the early Ford V8s, would leave about 6, and then the street rod guys leave about 8, and we'd all get there about the same time. So, it's one of those deals that, they're designed for today's highways, and it really makes it nice when you make a trip like we did, 1,100 miles, and you got air and you got cruise, and you can go down the highway with everybody else, and that makes it nice.
What are some of the other common updates or modifications that get made to street rods to make them that way?
Well, the other common one is suspension.
Yeah.
A lot of the cars now, and we have the vendors out there this weekend that would be selling suspension parts, and to do independent front suspension, take the straight axle away, some of those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is brakes.
Sure.
Disc brakes as opposed to the old drum brakes, and we have a safety inspection program that we do with NSRA that's been in program for a long time. We've inspected close to 400,000 cars over the years, and it is a 23-point inspection that's free to the car owner. We have volunteers that do that, and once you pass, they put a sticker on your window that you passed all the inspection points, and it's just an extra set of eyes to look at the cars and make sure they're done safely. And, because our deal is to be proactive. We want a safe hobby, and we want to be able to keep going.
Well, and if you think about this, most of these folks are not driving these cars around the block. They're taking them, as you pointed out, some distance.
Right. And, of course, we do have some that trailer, and I understand that. That's okay.
Right.
Depending on how many dollars you got in it, but depending if you want to wear it out or not. But so I made the comment to my wife, we need to make this trip before the car gets wore out and we get wore out.
Yeah.
So, it was a fun trip, and a lot of folks out there. We have a lot of Canadians come down, and it truly is an international type event. And while most of the people come from this part of the country, we do have people from all over the United States coming. So it makes it neat.
Some of them follow you along, don't they?
A few, yeah. We'll have probably 6 or 8 that go with us from here. Some of the vendors go as well.
Yeah.
They don't get to take the scenic tour like we're doing, but we're going from here to Burlington, Vermont, and then back home.
Uh-huh.
So we'll be out for a little while.
Putting some miles on that 37.
Absolutely.
That's right. What kind of money is tied up in this, Jim?
Well, it depends on what you want to do. I always tell everybody, what your car is worth. How long is a piece of string? It really depends.
Get the point.
How much work you do, how much you have done, and those kind of things. I've got a friend in Texas that just won the Riddler Award in Detroit this year with a 39 Oldsmobile. Has an excess of $2 million in the car.
Oh, my word.
It's a beautiful car. But, is that my deal? No. I would maybe put $1 million in one and buy a house. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But everybody has their deal. And, everybody thinks it's unreachable to have a street rod or have an old car. It just depends on where you want to start. It's kind of like houses. Everybody wants to have the house that their folks have, young people. Well, everybody can't have a 32 Ford. You can't start there necessarily.
Yeah.
But you can start at a lower level and start building up. That's what we had to do over the years.
Is that the most sought after one, the 32 Ford?
32 is still kind of the one everybody looks at, little deuce coupe and all those kind of things.
Yep.
Some of the guys think that's the only car there is a 32. But I can tell you there's 37s and there's 38s and a lot of different things. So, we love them all. I tell everybody we opened this new event to the 30-year rolling date. My first new car was a 67 Chevy 2, a little two-door hardtop. 327 4-speed car, and I look for Chevy 2s, man. I love them. So, it's a different deal.
You all have one, at least, that you identify with most, and that's the one that strikes your attention.
Well, it's either the first new car you had, or it's the car you had in high school, or the car the coolest guy had in high school you wish you had.
Jim Rowlett's here, the National Street Rod Association Street Rod Nationals North in Kalamazoo this weekend. A few more minutes to talk about this coming up in just a second on WBCK. A few more minutes with Jim Rowlett about the Street Rod Nationals North. We were just talking for a second that you talk about you can go to $2 million in your Oldsmobile or maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe buy a car that's decently roadworthy and just maintain it. Mm-hmm. You get going on some of these projects, and one thing leads to another and another and another. You can get away, get lost in this pretty easily, can't you?
Well, you can. I've got a 38 Chevrolet at home, and our plan was we've got about 140,000 miles on it, so I thought, well, I want to restore it. Okay. Had to redo the interior. Well, if you're going to do that, you might as well redo the wiring. And if you're going to do that, you might as well put the underdash air. If you're going to do that, you might as well, and there's no end to it, So I bought a car to drive, the 37. That I helped a buddy build, and I thought, well, I'll drive that and we'll finish the 38. Well, now we got 80,000 miles on the 37, still haven't done the 38, so we're just having a big time enjoying going down the road.
Well, that's the main thing, and that's what a lot of this is about. You talked about the spectators who will come to this. What do they love to see?
Well, it's here again, it goes back to the car that you wish you had or you've never seen, you want to go out and look at. The thing I love about the event, and I tell people all the time, it's like a family reunion with cars. Mm-hmm. Everybody gets out there, has a big time. Most of the cars have a story, and if you'll talk to the owner, they'll tell you the story. There's a lot of neat things about cars, and some of them 2 or 3 generations have had the same car passed down.
Wow.
I read a deal the other day about a gentleman that had owned one car 82 years, and he passed away. His dad bought it for him brand new when he graduated.
Oh, my gosh.
He passed away at almost 100. So,
held on to it all that time.
All that time, And so, it's a love affair with the automobile. That's something that is, I think, unique to the United States. Very few other countries have that because they just don't have the automobile history that we have. And, sadly, a lot of that history is going away. I love the old cars because they're works of art to me.
Yeah.
You can tell them apart. Nowadays you almost have to go up and read the emblem on the car to find out what it is.
Right.
But, it's a whole different kind of deal. And we've managed to make a hobby and do these kind of things for a long time. And, we enjoy coming back every year and seeing folks. And we see people here we don't see anyplace else. And I'm going to tell you, and not because we're on air, but the ability to come back and see you and see Kelly and all the folks that with the media here, it's great, and that's part of our family too.
Well, we've been talking for a long time, so we look forward to seeing you too. And when Jim's email comes or the letter comes in the mail, it's that time again, and we look forward to it as well. Are there cutting edge things happening with restorations and modifications of street rods now that are new?
Well, the body-wise, everything's kind of staying the same. They're still chopping and channeling and doing all those kind of things we've done forever. I think the big change is in electronics, in the radios, in the GPS, and those kind of things that are being built into the car. And it's pretty amazing. They've done power windows and power door locks and all that stuff for a long time. But the new engines, the things that are changing there, we see folks, doing later model stuff, more green engines, things that are a little more fuel efficient. And, of course, we still have the guys that put the big blower on and, they enjoy the rumpy rump. So, and that's the part I love about it. It's whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. And, so it is personalized in your own way. Everybody's not the same. There will be probably 35, 40, 37 Fords out there this weekend.
Right.
And none of them will be the same.
Yeah, they'll all be different.
And the cool part is Henry said you could have any color you want as long as it was black.
He did say that.
And so they've done way above all that black business. They got pink and yellow and green and whatever color you want. But And that's that's a fun thing for me. The other part is it is a family oriented type event, and we do a church service on Sunday morning for the participants, and John Marine out of North Auburn Hills Baptist Church comes down, and I serve as chaplain for the Street Rod Association. So we wear double duty, double hats, and but it's a great day always. And Circle of Winter Sunday, so don't change Sunday. It's a good day.
Right. So check it all out. It all starts tomorrow, right, at the Kalamazoo County Expo Center and Fairgrounds, and runs through Sunday. The Street Rod Nationals North. What does it cost to get in, Jim?
It's $15 for adults, children 6 to 12, $6, and 5 and under are free when accompanied by an adult. Registration will open this afternoon at 4 Points Sheridan on Cork at 2 o'clock. So you can go by if you want to register your car for the weekend. Go by and do that and enjoy that part. So, come out and see us. We do offer a discount to a military, $2 off, and our seniors, 60 and over, $2 off. And you can buy discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts. So go by and see those guys.
Very good. Jim, congratulations. 30 years. We're thrilled that you're here in our midst again.
Hey, good to be here. Thanks much.
Thank you. Jim Rowlett, NSRA Street Rod Nationals North, back in Kalamazoo this weekend.